What's up, guys? Glad to see you today. So today I couldn't actually get my guests lined up properly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at a YouTube video I haven't seen before, but it is gonna be about bad dispatcher calls. It's gonna be on a channel called True 911 Calls. I will put the link in the description whenever I get it on my other platforms, so that way you guys can check it out as well. And we'll just go through it and we'll pause as we go and talk about it and see what things they could have done better, could have done worse, or just things they can do different, or maybe ways that my agency does it a little different. But we'll see how it goes. Should have fun with it. Go ahead and flop y'all over here. Hope everybody's doing all right today. This may be a little difficult for our audio listeners if you're just listening in on audio and not watching, but we'll see what we can do.
This is over, and we are thankful because this has been an absolute nightmare for us.
As my statement said, we're sentenced to life.
Yeah.
And I think any parent that's had this happen to them will tell you the same thing. You are sentenced to life.
A mother and daughter's desperate pleas fall on deaf ears. A dispatcher hangs up on a man who had just found his mother dead, while another faces disciplinary action after failing to help a frantic mother of a 10-month-old baby who locked himself in the car. Just after midday on April 2nd, 2008, 21-year-old Brittany Zimmerman made a panicked call to 911. It ended abruptly, and although there were audible sounds of distress, the dispatcher failed to call back. Less than an hour later, her
Always call back.
fiancé, Jordan
Always
Goddard,
call back.
found the apartment door kicked open and the lock broken. On the bedroom floor, Brittany lay unresponsive.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
With the release
Address
of
first,
GPT-5,
always.
Augment Code now has a
I'm
multi-pay code
gonna
you
have to
can
skip.
pick
Sorry,
from
guys.
and
I haven't paid for YouTube Premium yet.
911, what's
Sorry.
the address of the emergency?
Hello?
This
Hello?
is 911, what's the
Yes.
address of the emergency?
Address first, always.
Repeat it? Is there an apartment number?
The flat.
It's what? You're cutting out. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, your phone's cutting out. Did you say upper or lower flat?
Yes.
Which?
It's the lower flat, apartment 1.
Okay.
Caller's getting a little agitated.
Okay, what's the phone number you're calling from, please? Okay, what is your name?
Jordan Goddard.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I just came home, the door was busted in, and my girlfriend's been shot.
So, okay, real quick. Most agencies. I mean, every agency address is priority, is number one. Other than address, phone number. So that way, if you get disconnected, you can verify that it's the same phone number that you're seeing on your 911 screen, and you can give it a call back if you need to. Some agencies, and there are a few even in my area, that they have to verify just per their policies, or they'll get written up or whatever. They have to verify the address twice and verify the phone number twice, and then ask what exactly is happening. It's just something that some agencies have policies. I've said this before. I'll say it again. You'll hear me say it a million times. If this podcast goes on for 50 years, you're going to hear it almost every time. Policies and laws that are made, and I tell people that are around me this all the time. You know, there's some policies and laws that a lot of people think are dumb, which sometimes they are, you know. But what happens is something bad happens, or there's a lawsuit or something of that nature, where now you have to change a policy or a law to fit that. And what ends up happening is, yes, if it's that specific situation, But when you blanket something like that, it just completely it's not a one size fits all thing. Nothing ever is, but people treat it that way. And when people get some of these laws passed, it's in an effort to help a certain situation, which is really awesome and great. But it kind of hinders other situations. Kind of like you guys have probably always heard the story of the McDonald's and the hot coffee thing. The reason those type of cups have to have those labels is because of incidents like that. And it's just the way the world is now, and how we have to have different warning labels.
Okay. Stay on the phone with me. Okay?
Yep.
Are you with her right now?
Yes, I am.
How old is she?
She is she's 21.
21?
This is medical
Is she
dispatch it's
conscious?
sounding like.
No, she's not.
Okay, stay on the phone, okay? Are you safe where you are right now?
I think so.
Okay. Is the person that did this still nearby? Is there any serious bleeding? She's been what? Okay, I'm sending an ambulance to help you. I want you to stay on the line with me so I can tell you
More
what
than
to do
likely,
next,
she's
okay?
already sent the
Okay.
ambulance. I would certainly hope
Okay,
so.
stay on the phone with me so I can tell you how to help her, okay? I want you to get as close to the phone with the to her with the phone as you can, okay?
Yes.
Okay. And then you're right by her now?
Yes.
All right, I want you to lay her flat on her back on the ground.
Yep.
Remove any pillows,
Okay.
okay? I need you to kneel next to her in her mouth and look in her mouth for any food or vomit. Is there anything? I need, okay. Did you think she did this herself?
No, she couldn't have.
She couldn't have done it herself.
No, there's gunshot wounds.
Hold on.
They
You're inside with her?
they ask
You're
these
inside with-
questions.
Okay, can you feel or hear any breathing at all? Okay. Okay, just so you know, there's an ambulance on the way and the officers are on the way as well, okay?
Okay.
And I'm also talking to them at the same time that...
You can hear the radio in the
Okay,
background.
is that you
talking
standing
back
in the
and forth.
window?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to come out right now
Oh, yep.
so they can get in there to help her, okay?
Yep. Okay. All right. She told me to hang out with the officer.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.
Officers arrived on the scene 48 minutes after the first 911 call.
40.
Brittany was
Oh,
dead, her
okay.
body covered with injuries, including
Look, guys. I work in a smaller town agency. I can't see a call like this going 48 minutes without an officer arriving. I just can't see it. That would be something that to us is like extremely major, not something we get every day. If an officer was on a non-major call, like let's say noise complaint or something, I would tell the officer, be en route over here. Like you're done with that noise complaint now. You're going over here. Emergent situations like that, usually you'll even a lot of times set off tones and send the officers that way. What I mean by tones is it makes a little tone in their radio, like a little beedoo beedoo beedoo, whatever. Just it's a tone, and it catches their ears, and they know that something really big is coming through. So that's more than likely what we do in our agency. Something big like that, set off the tones, get them on the way wherever they're at. Hey, 48 minutes. I know there's some agencies that they're just severely understaffed in like huge populations. I didn't catch where this was, so I don't know if it's a huge town or not. And everybody across the nation's different. I know I've had a vehicle broken into in the Dallas Metroplex area before. They're like for their population size, they're extremely understaffed. It took an hour to get to me, but I was like, yeah, that's fairly normal for them. That's actually a pretty quick response time. And I just got my case number and did my own thing with my insurance because nothing was taken. They broke into my vehicle. They broke the window, got into my vehicle, didn't find anything because I don't keep stuff like that in my vehicle. Good tip for all of you: don't keep anything of value in your vehicles that you don't want to lose. I understand if you're out and you buy something or whatever, always hide your stuff and lock your car and whatnot. For me, since I had that experience, I always keep my vehicle, or a lot of times I keep my vehicle unlocked, especially if I don't have anything in there, because the most they're going to get is spare napkins. I don't keep anything like that in my vehicles. Just because of that experience. 48 minutes, that's a little insane. I'm not sure why it would have taken
Stab wounds to her
that long.
chest, strangulation marks on her neck, and signs of blunt force trauma. Although detectives started the investigation that day, it would take over a decade before justice would be served. After conducting several interviews with neighbors, police believed a man, later identified as David Call, was their suspect, but a lack of concrete forensic evidence kept them from pressing charges. The 38-year-old lived about a mile from the crime scene and had been ringing doorbells and asking for money that day. When he was taken in for questioning, Call admitted to this, saying he was high. Additionally, Call told investigators that he was a paranoid schizophrenic who had stopped taking his medication, but he denied entering any homes or having any part in the murder. At the time, Call was on supervised release following convictions for failure to update his status in the sex offender registry, as well as driving while under the influence. Just 2 of the many convictions against him. And the repeat offender would find himself back in prison nearly 2 months
A
after
lot of times
Brittany
it's
was killed.
repeat offenders.
Detectives questioned Call numerous times over the following years. And while incarcerated in 2009, he sent a letter to police claiming that another inmate had committed the murder. In November 2010, Brittany's mother, Jean Zimmerman, spoke to NBC 15 in the hopes of increasing the reward money for finding her killer.
I cannot even imagine that I'm going to have to live the rest of my life without her. It is very difficult to get out of bed every day and function. And every day that goes by, it gets harder. It does not get easier. I fear that, yes, tomorrow could be a day, Tuesday could be a day that someone else dies.
Between 2010 and 2017, David Call would be in and out of prison. During this time, he told a fellow inmate, Andrew Scholes, that he feared being charged in Brittany's death due to incriminating fingerprints he claimed he left behind on her neck. Scholes had made an arrangement with the authorities in exchange for information, but then he died in a motorbike accident. Then crucial DNA test results matched the evidence left behind on Brittany's clothing to David Call. By this point, testing had advanced. It seemed like a break in the case. In reality, during a March 2018 interview, Kevin and Jean Zimmerman were still waiting for any answers or progress in the case.
Chief Koval came to our door on my husband's birthday and said, "We believe we have the person responsible for killing your daughter."
When the media questioned Madison Police Chief Mike Koval, he said the sole detective on the case had broken down and they had to create a team to carry on working to find Brittany's killer. However, it didn't seem like an arrest was on the horizon.
So that's just something from just working at a police department standpoint, not necessarily from the dispatcher standpoint, but working at a police department. A lot of people, when they call in, believe we have like everything. We have all the access to everything that's ever been seen on like CSI or NCIS or anything like that. And it's just not the case. Technology has advanced over the years a lot more than it used to be. I remember even when I started out, the locations on 911 weren't always super accurate. And even now, I mean, they've gotten it to within 100 yards. But if you think about it, if you're in a populated area in a town or city, that's still a very that area, 100-yard area, could have 5, 6 houses in it or more. You know, especially if you're talking apartments, double, triple layered apartments with 2 or 3 buildings. 100 yards is a lot of area to cover and try and find something. So it is a lot better than it used to be. Still not the absolute best end all be all. And also on like DNA and evidence taking, for us, a lot of times we have to outsource and send it off to a bigger department that actually has a forensics department within um, their department or their employment there. So even then, and a lot of times those departments, since they have so many other departments sending it to them, things get delayed. And of course, your less severe cases are going to get pushed down below your most severe cases. So a lot of this testing, that officers send off stuff for like THC and all that, it's going to be years and years and years and years before they get that. Um, Unfortunately, let's say a single murder happened in our jurisdiction and you've got a mass, um, I have to be careful with my words because, YouTube, Spotify, all that, a mass incident where a lot of people have been hurt, or murdered. They that would probably get pushed up above our single person involvement. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. A lot of these departments don't have the budget to have their own forensic department. They're just small cities working on the budget that they have. So that's just an unfortunate reality. It's not exactly like CSI, but we certainly try with the resources that we have. So just something to kind of remember if you talk to smaller departments or you have an issue or a case that you're checking into at a smaller department.
If I had the probable cause based on the totality of the evidence I had, don't you think I would have made an arrest?
As a result of active leads, the
It's a little
investigation would not
tiny
be
bit
classified
arrogant.
as a cold case, which stopped the Zimmerman family from being able to access the files and conduct their own investigation. It also gave a sense of hope that naming a suspect was imminent, but it would be another 2 years before David Call was arrested. At the same time, Brittany's family was in the midst of a lawsuit over the 911 call. Dispatcher Rita Gahagan, a veteran operator, had heard voices and background noise but didn't recognize a scream in the recording, resulting in the call being dropped without perceiving any distress.
Every business owner with
But
people out in the field
that's
needs
why
to
you
know about
always call
connecting.
back.
Works?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe it.
She did not call
And
back,
because sometimes
but
you're not
instead
gonna
returned a second.
you're not yeah, you're not always gonna hear something. And sometimes phones break up if the building is known for not letting cell signal through. It happens. It certainly does. I don't think the dispatcher was wrong in that aspect of not being able to hear it. I mean, it happens. But as far as our policy, we always contact back a 911 hang up if it's a workable cell phone number. Fun fact, disconnected cell phones or cell phones without service or without a plan can always call 911. They can make 911 calls all day. But 911 currently, with the current technology and the way cell phone companies are, we can't make contact back with a disconnected cell phone. If they keep the line open long enough, sometimes we can get a location, but even then, with disconnected cell phones, it's extremely unreliable. It'll bounce around to different locations because it's hitting different towers. It's just trying to find the best service it can, since it's not actually tied to a specific service. Whereas, say, if you have your cell phone through Verizon, it's going to hit a Verizon tower, and it's going to hit the other Verizon towers that are going to be able to pinpoint your location a little bit better or more reliably at least than a disconnected cell phone, which is it's going to hit a T-Mobile here and a Verizon here and an AT&T there, and it's not going to be always the most accurate location. It'll bounce around because it's trying to pull the location from so many towers at the same time. But yes, always call back. Always call
which
back.
she logged as a misdial. Even this would be a contentious point since initial reports said the dispatcher had forgotten to call back.
Forgotten.
Gahagan
Okay.
defended herself, adamant she had only dropped the call after failing to hear anything suggestive of an emergency.
This is also why most agencies have a policy to always send officers out to 911 hangups, accidental or otherwise, because of situations like this. So if your kid calls 911 or you pocket dial, they'll get angry with the officers coming out there. They're trying to prevent situations like this.
Ultimately, the Zimmerman family reached a $5,000 settlement with Dane County, and the funds were
$5,000?
redirected to Brittany's reward fund during the investigation. Several judges have rejected requests for the call to be made public. In fact, media outlets also engaged in a legal battle with Dane County over the records, particularly withholding the 911 calls. A
I don't.
settlement of $118,000
It
was
should be
reached,
public
and
information. I
still,
mean,
the recordings of the call made by Brittany remained sealed. However, lawyers for the media were allowed to listen to it, and those who have heard it say there is no question about screaming in the audio. Finally, after 12 years of waiting, David Call was arrested on March 20th, 2020. His version of events was even more heartbreaking than imagined. Brittany had let the 38-year-old in as an act of kindness. She had refused to give Call money but let him use the bathroom. When he came out, she was on the phone. It's unclear whether this was the 911 call that dispatchers ignored. According to his attorney, the man panicked, grabbed the phone, and tried to strangle Brittany with her shirt. The
insane.
attack didn't stop there. After the killer noticed the 21-year-old was still breathing, he grabbed a knife from the butcher's block in the kitchen and stabbed her 19 times. On January
There's something
20th,
else going on there.
2023, David Call eventually pleaded guilty to first-degree homicide and was sentenced to mandatory life in prison.
Was much more about him letting go of a secret and making sure that he provided closure to all of the people who have spent a lot of time and energy and emotion.
I could never live my last days not knowing who did this to her. What he did was unspeakable. And to not have the person responsible for that behind bars, it was unacceptable to us.
He decided to forego the opportunity to be considered for parole after serving 20 years, saying that the Zimmerman family had suffered enough. He had taken a life from them, so he would give up his.
That's as much as you can say a criminal is commendable. That's
Despite 26 documented calls to the police spanning over months, 2 British women were left stranded by those who were meant to protect them. 22-year-old Raneem Uday spoke to police 5 times
So-
in less than 2 hours.
this is going to be a little different. So other countries are massively different on 911 dispatching than the United States is. So this one will be probably pretty interesting.
Desperately needing intervention from the man who had been abusing her for years. In fact, she had court orders against him and witnesses to corroborate one of the attacks. But the call was flagged as a lower risk.
Hi. Actually, I called now. That's the 4th time to ask about the police. I'm waiting for them to come to my property regarding my ex-partner. He came and he hit me, and he actually harmed me and my mom as well. So I waited so long, and I'm waiting in the car. So
Did you call on this mobile?
Yeah,
Do you know the log number?
yeah. Can you give me a second? Can you just give me a second?
That's
Yeah,
that's a little
it's,
insane.
268626
Yeah.
again, and then 0818.
And what's your name?
Raneem Oder.
No, you didn't call on this number. You called on a different number.
No one called me. I haven't received any calls.
No, when you called the police, you didn't call
Yeah.
on this mobile that you're calling on now.
Move on
No,
with the
I
call
called
now.
I asked you if you called on the mobile that you're calling on now. You said yes.
No, I called 3 times. So once I called from different number, and
Right.
twice I called from my number.
Okay, well, we went to the location, but obviously you left and went home, so we're going to have to wait until there's another officer free.
Can you actually just keep it for tomorrow, because I don't have the keys for the property, and I'm just waiting in the street from 2 hours now. So I'm just gonna leave it to tomorrow. And please, you should do something about it. He should be arrested, because I have non-molestation order against him. He can't even come nearby me. So he came and he actually beat me and beat my mom up in front of everyone. There is witness. There is many things. So he actually should be arrested without even the police come and see me.
Right, okay, so where are you now?
Okay. So it seems to be a little now. Once again, we're dealing with a very different country. Things could be massively different. Seems to be also a little misunderstanding from the caller here, kind of how things work. The police should have been sent immediately. Like if there's an assault that took place, like again, maybe it's a massive jurisdiction that's completely understaffed, but an assault took place according to the caller. Officers need to be sent immediately. One of those things, some of the lower priority calls, Like, I don't know why that one would have been flagged low priority. I guess because it did involve a weapon. Like I said, depending on jurisdiction, some that are massive. Um, but also a misunderstanding from the caller that like we can't pre-schedule officers. If you want an officer to a specific location, that's the location you need to be at. Or if you feel like that location's not safe, let the dispatcher know, hey, I'm going to be at this location because I'm not safe where I'm at right now. Um, that way the officer can go and take a report. Also, just in different country, I don't know if like the magistrates and the laws and the judges are all the same over there. Um, but here it's a thing to where if you're going to make a report or an officer is going to make an arrest and do a report, they need to have those witnesses or the victims making the report and having those statements and things on body camera, because they can't just go out and make an arrest based on hearsay over the phone. They shouldn't anyway, right? Um, there's like some major things, even take for instance like YouTubers getting swatted. They should go out and investigate. They usually do, and usually pretty high strung, hostage situations and stuff. When YouTubers get swatted, that can be a serious accusation there. But what if every YouTuber that got swatted got fully arrested and put in jail and charged for those crimes without any evidence or anything? Just someone said they did it, so they did it. Or if someone calls on you doing something random, but all it is them calling and saying it. They don't talk to the police. They don't have the marks and bruises and things to support those claims. They just said, "Oh yes, this person hit me," and then you get arrested for it without like even like I guess what I'm saying is that's completely wild. She's not anonymous, but like in my mind, it's like if an anonymous caller would have called and say someone did something. Hey, look, if you want to report, just kind of the way the system works is you need to speak with an officer and show them these injuries and things, and we need to make sure you're safe first. Usually how a dispatcher should word it. We need to make sure you're safe first before we go out and deal with them, right? We know who they are. It sounds like you know who they are. You know their name and everything. We'll catch up with them eventually. May take some time, but the number one priority is making sure you're safe. But I think that's where dispatch failed in this instance. Is they know an assault took place. Well, allegedly an assault took place, and they haven't gone to actually check on the caller yet. Sounds like they showed up and the caller wasn't there.
I'm just going back to my mom now. I'm just going back. I just want you guys, please, to arrest him because...
I understand that. What's your mum's address?
Yeah.
And you're going there because you haven't got a key for your house?
I've been to my house. I don't have the keys, and I waited for long, so I'm going back to my mom now. I can't just stay in the street. And it's really late, and I'm worried he might come to my property and hurt me again, do something wrong.
That's understandable.
You want to see officers tomorrow?
Sorry?
You want to see officers tomorrow instead?
Brad pushed the caller a little
today
bit.
He should be arrested. I can't just I have a baby with me. I have 2.5-year-old child. He might hurt me or hurt the child. So it's just really dangerous. He's drunk as well, and he might just get a knife or something and do something to us.
Okay. All right, we'll go back to your mum's. If he turns up there, call 999, okay?
Okay, and you're going to do action against him, actually, or no?
I believe we'll need to come and see you first.
Okay, so you
we'll
have
leave
to
it
see
with
me
the
first.
local station, yeah, but we'll try and get out tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So you're going to leave him like this till tomorrow?
Well, it's down to the local station, what they want to do.
Local station.
But you need to go to your mum's and lock the door, and then if he turns up, call 999, okay?
True.
We'll get someone to see you tomorrow.
That's the problem when I'm calling. They're not coming quickly. I've been waiting 2 hours now.
Yeah, because he had left, so the risk has been lowered. That's the issue. But now he's not there.
He might be waiting.
Okay.
Well, now
He might
he's
be
not
waiting.
there, so we have
He
to
might
go
be
to
waiting.
other jobs where there are people there still. That's how it works. So you just need to
but
get to your mum's and lock the door, and we'll try and see you tomorrow.
Okay. So the wording and verbiage could have been handled a little bit better by the dispatcher. But I think I see what's going on now is basically she called for the ex being there and assaulting and threatening and all that, which should still have an officer sent like pretty much immediately. But it sounds like when the officers were actually sent, he had called back and said he wasn't there anymore. So with him not being there, it lowers the risk of the call. So that's probably why it got lowered a little bit on their priority list. And it sounds like they're a pretty busy department. So it sounds like they're constantly just running around to calls, and so it got lowered, and so they didn't get to it immediately.
Hey.
Okay.
All
No,
right.
he actually followed me from my mom to the place where I was in restaurant.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. It's been 2 hours.
He's
now,
waiting for
though.
me.
It's been
Yeah,
2 hours, so you need to go to. Okay, that's what you said you wanted to do. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hi. Meet Woodger.
Again, sorry for the ads. So we'll just,
Eventually,
this.
the department
We'll get
called
through
her
this
back.
together.
Hello there, it's the police at Solihull here. Just to let you know, I've arranged an appointment tomorrow. Now, the officers come on duty at 8 o'clock in the morning, and in the morning, when they have a look through this incident, they will give
Have a
you a
night
call
shift?
and arrange a time to come and see you at
It's
some
wild.
point tomorrow in the morning, all right?
Okay, so 8 o'clock they have to see me or just go there?
No. They start work at 8 o'clock in the morning. They will have a look at the incident that you've reported, and they will make contact with you to arrange a suitable time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody will make contact
little
with you in
insane.
the morning.
Okay. There is a witness as well. If you want.
Okay. We'll take all those details from you tomorrow. Do you
That's
have
a
a
little
copy
wild.
of the order?
Yeah, you mean the number?
You do.
Or the non-molestation order?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. All right, so somebody will be in touch with you tomorrow then, okay?
That's
I
absolutely
just
wild.
want to ask you, he will be arrested tomorrow or no?
It was too late. While Raneem was on the final phone call to police, John Boz Taryn repeatedly stabbed the 22-year-old and her mother, Kawala Salim, to death.
Mhm.
On top of this, in the weeks leading up to the murders, there had been 7 separate police call-outs to John Boz's home, and Raneem had made 14 calls to report domestic abuse incidents. Still, officers failed to arrest or investigate the man before the
That's-
tragedy.
Yeah, there's
The
the
couple
real
met
issue
in
there.
college, but Raneem was still married to a man in Syria. However, despite her best efforts, the relationship fell apart. Once Raneem was single, John Boz started pursuing her more. Eventually, they started dating. Just months later, the couple was married under Islamic law. Her aunt, Noor Norris, was concerned about what John Boz had said on the wedding day.
Today you are mine, and in my culture, there's no divorce. The day you leave me, the day you go to your grave, I will kill you and your family.
But the marriage fell
He-
apart when Raneem
Whoa.
discovered that her husband had a secret wife and
Whoa.
3 children in
He said that was his vows? That's insane. I would have called the wedding off right then and there. That's insane.
Afghanistan. She feared how he would react when she confronted him and recorded it on her phone.
It's not easy to find out everything, and you want me to smile at you.
I mean, how you want
So
to
if
know
I
me from
find
that?
out now I'm cheating on you, you would smile at me after 2 minutes?
Haiti, I'm not shooting on you. I went to my wife.
Yeah,
She's my wife.
yeah.
Yes, I'm not cheating on you.
So you made her pregnant, that's not cheating?
No, because she's my wife.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Going to your wife and making her pregnant, that's actually finished everything. I would just get divorced from you, get separate. You really need to deal with it. With divorce.
Raneem moved back to her
Yeah, no,
mother's
they
house for a
definitely
short
dropped the ball
while,
on that.
but John Boz manipulated her to get back together with him. Things only worsened, so she secretly recorded evidence of his violent outbursts to protect herself and her son.
I can now call the police, but you know I can tell them. I can tell them every single thing, how many times you beat me up. They will take you to jail straight away. I
Huh,
can
they
call
should
them,
have,
tell them many
yes.
things about you, John. Yeah, so I'm not doing anything. If there is even a space for you, there is no more.
Neighbors began documenting the arguments between the couple too.
There was one occasion where the neighbors actually got involved and chased him out of the building.
Again, Raneem moved to her mother's house and took out a court order against John Boz, but he continued to harass and threaten her for 4 months, even sleeping outside the house for nearly 2 weeks. By August 26, 2018, it all came to a head. Raneem and Kawala were seen arguing with John Boz in a shisha lounge in Birmingham. He slapped both women in the face and angrily snatched a phone from Raneem before staff escorted him out. After being kicked out, the 21-year-old was seen driving past the venue, making a throat-slitting gesture towards the women. Just hours
No,
later,
that's
the mother
way
and
too-
daughter were killed. Once he had committed the brutal murders, John Boz fled the scene and shaved off his beard to disguise himself. Before disappearing, he was seen on CCTV in a chicken shop.
I know this
A
is a
major
different country,
manhunt
but
was launched, with the killer's face appearing across the news. Finally, 3 days later, someone recognized John Boz from the media appeal, and he was arrested by officers. Family members of the victims held the police accountable for not preventing the tragic deaths. This claim was
Absolutely.
later substantiated by an inquest that scrutinized the actions of the authorities in handling the situation. The evidence, which included multiple calls to the police and court documents, unequivocally pointed to the West Midlands police failures in protecting Raneem and Kawala. These lapses, as determined by the inquest, were significant contributing factors to the tragic outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Further reinforcing this, an investigation by the Independent Office for Police Conduct identified missed opportunities, demonstrating that the authorities could have intervened effectively to prevent the murders. In December 2018, John Boz Tarrant pleaded guilty to the 2 murders and was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 32 years.
different countries can be wild, apparently.
This dispatcher hung up on a man who had just found his mother dead.
911 emergency. What's your address? Get somebody in my house. I just got off work. I think my mom's dead. What's your address? Oh my God, I can't think. I'm gonna get medical on the line. Don't hang up the line.
Oh,
1 moment. He's saying that he thinks his mom's passed away. I don't have the address. Yeah, please. Ma'am. I'm a guy. Stop. Okay, then calm down a little. I need a building number. What's your Okay. Is she breathing at all? Okay, you don't have to holler at me. I didn't do it. Okay?
Okay. Whoa.
Bye. Okay, listen, we have the call. Medical and officers are going to be responding. Was she sick? What happened? Man, I don't know. I just got off work. I just worked like 12 hours.
Okay. That's this is one of those calls. I've never seen this one, but this is one of those that should probably be used as training around the country. There's a certain amount of empathy that has to go into dispatching. I understand callers can be a little much. They can be a little crazy or uncooperative, but that is a little wild, especially in a medical emergency, right? There's ways they can get around it. There's ways they can try and de-escalate the situation and try and calm the caller down as much as they can. I know it doesn't always work out in the way they want to, but that's absolutely wild to, like, in a medical emergency like that dispatcher's a little burned out, if you ask me. More than a little. That's a lot to process there. So there is a certain amount of empathy that needs to go into every single call. It's okay to get annoyed. It's okay to get a little burned out. People generally don't understand that, and yes, you'll probably get in trouble for it, but a little bit of tiny bit of attitude, usually not during medical situations though, right? Situations where the little bit of attitude is okay is if the caller's like actually berating, cussing at you, talking down to you, or threatening your family. generally we'll give the caller like 4 or 5 opportunities. Hey, don't talk to me like that. We're trying to get details. Hey, don't talk to me like that. I'm gonna have to disconnect if you keep coming at me like that. You know, several times of warnings and things, and then maybe hang up. But like I said, in a distressing situation like that where somebody is, for all we know, they are passed away on the floor or whatever. Yeah, that never hang up. That if anything, stay silent. Give them a chance to process a little bit while you're trying to find the address or the location. Yeah, that's crazy.
Hanging up on someone who has called 911 for help seriously violates how the emergency service operates, but the dispatcher kept her job. The original call taker
That's surprising
from
to
the
me.
Metro Police Department remained on the line. An internal investigation by Las Vegas Fire and Rescue found that the female employee made critical failures but would not be
Absolutely.
fired. She faced corrective action, but what that actually means remains unclear. But following the January 2014 call, the department said it was moving forward with plans for a new quality assurance position.
Which means everybody gets micromanaged. That was insane though.
Meanwhile, this frantic mother's call also led to a 911 Tampa dispatcher facing disciplinary action. After leaving a Tampa supermarket, Shayna Dees placed her son Jack inside his car seat, shut the door, and returned the shopping cart. In that short time, Jack, who had the keys to play with, locked the not yet running car, which also held Shayna's purse and phone.
Kids do that.
Luckily,
It
she found
happens.
a stranger in the parking lot who let her borrow a phone to call 911, but the dispatcher wasn't very helpful.
I just watched somebody make
Mm.
$12,000
This is a big
selling
thing,
a t-shirt that took
so-
them literally minutes to make.
Like me being in the south end of Texas,
Hi,
it's really hot. Like kids can die very quickly in those situations. So this one might make me even more upset than the last one.
infant son is locked in the car in a parking lot. He has the keys and hit the lock button when I was loading groceries in.
It happens. Kids do
And
that.
It's so hot outside. I'm concerned. I don't think I have time to call AAA before he would, suffer heat exhaustion. Can somebody come out and
Calm,
open the
cool,
door,
collected
or
caller, first of
I,
all.
I don't even know if that's something you guys do.
They won't be able to try to gain access to the car unless the child is in some kind of distress.
Yes, that is distress. That's already distress.
By that point, they may just smash your windows.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Not unless the child's in distress. I'm sorry. I must have.
Roughly 8 minutes after the call,
Uh.
ended, an off-duty police officer took notice and called 911, getting a different operator who immediately asked where they were.
911, what is your emergency?
Hey, how you doing? Is this Tampa PD?
Yeah, this is 911. What's your emergency?
So we have somewhat of the same procedure. If the car is running, we may have a little bit of a slower response, and we let people know that, look, our resort, because of liabilities and stuff, I have to let you know that I don't know what's going on with my light there. Okay. We have to let people know that we have to let people know, like, because of liabilities and things, that it is possible for the officer to smash the window in a situation like that. But a lot of people, if they're actually in an emergency situation, they don't care. They just want the help. It's fine. Another one of those things, like I said, with laws and policies and things like that, they're because of something bad happened at one point. So, like, for us, it's a liability for an officer to unlock a car because they've scratched cars before, they've messed up the locks or caused damage, and so somebody pretty much wanted to start an issue with that, and because of that, our policies had to change. But yes, if it's a kid in a car, like, we're gonna go, we're gonna figure it out, right?
How you doing?
Baby locked in a car.
Okay, where they at? Okay, is that a house or a residence or a business or?
CVS pharmacy.
All right. How old is the child?
It's in a car seat, baby.
A baby. Okay. What kind of car is it?
It's a black Acura.
You know what year?
Don't know.
Is the person there who owns the car?
Yes.
Okay. Could you find out from her, please?
She's a little distraught. You want her license plate number?
Yeah, that'll be fine. All right. Great. Thank you so much. Is the vehicle running or no?
No, it's turned off.
Okay, turned off. All right. What's your name?
Hi.
Oh, okay. Hey, how you doing? Okay.
She says she called 911 and they said they're not going to come out if the baby's not in distress.
No, that's not true. Not at all.
Yeah, okay.
Not at all. We'll be out there for her, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
At that time of year, the average afternoon temperature hovers in the high 80s to low 90s.
Oh, that's like
Of
125
course,
in a
that
car.
rises considerably in a car that isn't running and has no windows down. In the meantime, another shopper broke the passenger side window with
Yes.
a wrench before police arrived. Tampa police conceded that the dispatcher should have been more aggressive and asked for location, but said that the operator did not refuse to send an officer and that the mother ended the call. The dispatcher was disciplined for the
Partially
incident.
true. Yeah, I kind
For
of
more
agree with
True
that. As long as
911
the
calls,
child didn't
watch this episode next.
As long as it didn't end in like actual serious injury or death, I think disciplinary, like a write up or something like that, is pretty good for that. But that's still kind of insane. I do agree, like from their standpoint, that the dispatcher didn't actually refuse. He was like mentioning their policies, like, yeah, unless there's, but I guess from our policies and my standpoint, a car not running in an area where it gets up to the 80s or 90s, is at that point, I would call that distress because you can't get in the car. The keys are in the car. The child locked the doors. It's extremely hot outside. You'll need to get things rolling at that point because things can happen very quickly with children. Children, elderly people, some of our most vulnerable populations, that things can go south for very quickly. So yes, definitely should have been more on the ball there and just been like, okay, yeah, we'll get someone to come out and check. At that point, it's where you as an individual person have to make the decision. Would I rather get in a little bit of trouble for a policy there, or possibly have something very bad happen with this child? You have to make decisions like that. Sometimes you have to skirt around or make a personal decision on some of your policies that people aren't going to like and you may possibly get in trouble for. But you also have to take those life-saving measures into account. Luckily, I fully believe I work at a place that if I had to make a life or death decision like that, they would overlook, like they wouldn't necessarily write me up for something if I'm trying to save a life, right? I would certainly hope so. Nobody knows until they're in that situation, but I would certainly hope that the place I work at would see that, and especially if if they talk to me about it and I bring up like, this is a decision I made, this is why, felt like there was a life in danger, we're gonna go. You got to make those decisions sometimes, even when it may be outside of the purview of your technical policy. And hope you enjoyed that. I actually think we're gonna go to a different video now. Take a look at maybe some different calls.
This is over.
We'll go on to a different video, see if there's some different calls in here, and kind of do the same thing. Some of these are wild. Some of these I hadn't even heard of. So this one is also from True 911 Calls. I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat now. That way you guys know where to find that channel. If I can. I was going to. Oh, one will be from, here we go. So there's the link there if you guys are interested in watching that. This will be from the video I'm getting into now, and will be from the same channel as the previous one was.
Portland musician Natalie Lucio was T-boned by a suspected drunk driver while on her way to her day job. The crash happened right in front of a school, and she believes he was driving about twice the speed limit. The collision was so strong she had to walk a half block from where she was hit to retrieve the front bumper
Pretty
of
major
her
damage.
fiancé, Sean Alvey's pickup truck. Shortly after the crash, Natalie gathered witness contact information and photographed the suspect vehicle, a black Dodge Dakota truck. At 10:16 a.m., she called 911 from home.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Well, I'm no longer at there because I couldn't get through. I'm at my place of residence, but I'm getting ready to go to urgent care. I got hit and run by a drunk driver, and I have a picture of the vehicle, but he ran off.
And how long ago did this happen?
It was at 7:16 a.m.
Okay. So yeah, do you need an ambulance? Do you need any emergency services from us at this point?
Well, here's
I
the
don't
thing.
like
The
her
guy
tone on that.
is drunk, and he's currently driving, and we think we have a picture of his location.
Right now?
Possible. He might be on North Greeley Avenue because he hit me at the intersection in front of Portland Village School.
Okay, so what's the time frame when someone saw him parked in front of that address?
It was just posted a few minutes ago.
Was he inside the vehicle or outside of the vehicle?
It looks like it's parked outside.
Okay, so he's parked. Okay, here's the deal. You're not going to like this, but I have to not take it on this call. This is 911 on this line. I can't take it.
They said if there was an injury that
Do you need an ambulance?
I don't want to pay for an ambulance.
Okay, you said you were going to urgent care, so I can't help you with that. So you have to do urgent care. I have to give you the non-emergency number to report this. We'll definitely have an officer contact.
At this point, you've gotten most of the details of the call. Get her name and number, have an officer call her, even if you don't deem it an emergency at this point. Don't make it a huge big deal to get them over to the non-emergency line, even if you think it's a non-emergency. Some things like dogs barking, yeah, we're going to tell you not to call 911. People call 911 for their phones not working, for their whatever daily non-emergency things there are. Yes, we'll try and get you over to the non-emergency line because we have a certain amount of lines, and after you pass that, it starts rolling over to different numbers or different counties. So we try not to tie up 911, but yeah, you've gotten like 98% of your information there. Get her name and number, have an officer give her a call, and see if they deem it to be a report or not. Let them make that decision, not the dispatcher.
It's just you're going to. I know you're going to be. Let me finish, okay? You are going to be on hold for a while, okay? You can make this report anytime. You have all the information you need. It's not a stress-worthy thing. So deal with your. Okay, I'm going to give you the different number. I have to give you a different number. I cannot take it on this call, on this line. Okay, here you go.
Sounds like this is definitely one of those agencies. They get thousands of calls a day.
But the call was disconnected and she wasn't transferred. Between 10:43 a.m. and 10:49 a.m., Natalie and Sean made over 30 unsuccessful attempts to contact the non-emergency line. At 11:53 a.m., Sean finally managed to report the crash to the non-emergency line, while Natalie was treated in hospital. 7 hours later, an officer reached out to the victim and a witness for the case, which was then categorized as inactive or suspended, lack of tangible leads. The following week, Natalie called the non-emergency line again to follow up on her case. She waited over 44 minutes to speak to a dispatcher and is eventually contacted by an officer who asks her to email details about the incident.
You just don't expect someone to, a drunk driver to hit you at 7:16 in the morning. We dialed 911 the first time and they hung up on us because I wasn't sure if I needed an ambulance.
Lucio now has to use a cane and wear a neck brace after the crash caused her head to snap back on impact.
At 7:16 a.m., he flipped my world upside down.
Finally, on January 13th, 2023, the Bureau of Emergency Communications BOEC provided recordings of the calls in response to a public records request, saying it's investigating. More than 2 months after the ordeal, the organization acknowledged issues with their non-emergency system, stating it reached capacity at that time. BOEC
So yeah,
said they were looking into measures.
definitely an extremely large agency that has overflowing lines. And also, to be fair, in our department as well, if someone's trying to report something several hours after the fact, it gets to a point to where, okay, you're reporting this several hours after the fact. There's very, very, very slim chance we're either going to find this person or be able to do anything extra. So yes, a lot of times it will get downgraded. We always urge people, call as soon as something happens. As soon as something happens, that's the best chance officers have of finding people involved. That's also the best chance of medical services being able to help you out in that moment. She had mentioned she can't afford an ambulance. A lot of people do get embarrassed about that, but at the same time, they're there to provide care, no matter if you have the money or not. It's always best to be seen. It's difficult for some people, and yes, it is a really expensive service. But yeah, it's always best to try and get the help you need right then and there, right when something's occurring.
To prevent this. Despite Natalie providing detailed information, there have been no arrests or charges. And the investigation into her initial 911 call remains incomplete.
Okay. We're going to end it there. We're coming right up on an hour. So we'll end it there. But I do appreciate you guys for joining me. I hope I shared some information in some of these calls. Some of them absolutely wild. I'm surprised some people still have their jobs. Other countries apparently very wild. But yeah, hopefully that just gives you an insight as to kind of what we're thinking when we're taking calls, and how some people you can just like with a bad officer, a bad nurse, or whatever, you're going to catch people on their bad days. You're going to catch people that have been doing it for 30 years and a little burnout and probably need to figure out either some help or a different career path. And that's just the unfortunate thing of it, because every agency is going to be different. You're going to deal with a different person. Humans are humans. If no matter the job they're working, humans can be a lot. Yeah, some of those calls definitely wild. I certainly hope nobody has to deal with situations like that. We always try and be as empathetic as we can and take care of things the way we should. But I appreciate you guys joining, audio listeners. It seems like there was a lot of information and audio going on there. The most you missed is probably some B-roll footage. So hey, should be good even for our audio listeners. I hope you guys join me next time. Hoping my guest can be scheduled correctly for the next time. But we'll see ya, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in.